Greetings and Merry Christmas, everybody. We are live. I hope you're all doing well out there. And if I'm obviously operating under the assumption that everybody here celebrates Christmas, but I'm pretty sure just about every religion has some kind of major holiday in the month of December. So if you happen to celebrate something additionally or different, let me know and tell me all about it, because I got to know more about these things. Anyway, it is the holiday season, and there's always a lot going on. And there's a million things to love and hate about the holiday season. So what I want to know tonight is, what do you believe about the holiday season that you believe is a controversial take, right? So what I want you to do is share this stream out as we're live here, and try to get some more people to come in and talk to us about what they think the holidays are about, and see if they have any controversial opinions that they want to share. Joining me, as always, is the beautiful Heather Blossom. How are you doing tonight, Heather?
I'm doing pretty good. As we speak, I'm putting together a thumbnail for a different stream we're going to do.
Indeed. We'll talk more about that later. So here's what you do, guys, is at the very top of this video's description, there is a link to a Discord server. Click that link, hop into the Discord server. As long as you've got, an audible microphone and a halfway decent connection that you can actually connect to a voice call, you can come in, tell us that you want to contribute to the conversation. We'll give you permissions to join the on-air call, and you can tell us your holiday hot take, your controversial opinions, right? So we definitely want to hear all about it. And until then, we're gonna give the shout outs to the patrons, because we are in fact very grateful to everybody who supports, especially on the $10 and up tier, such as Heather herself. There's also Shady Oak, Autoknight, Emerald, Senko, DJ, Rain, Billy, Alden, Kanto, Mr. Sonic, Alicia, StarChaser, VentureCorp, Willyzin, Icanus, Vulpecula, Jimmy, J. Yoshi, and Dark Malcontent. Check out all their links in the description, as well as for their content, as well as what you can, how you can support this channel and what you get in return. Now then, with that being said, Heather, what are some things that frustrate you about the holiday season? We'll talk about whether or not it's valid.
Well, we could start with my literal hot take that you shouldn't make hot chocolate with anything other than milks, whether that be actual dairy milk or milk-like products such as vanilla almond milk. The only thing I do not want to see people making hot chocolate with is water. I think I've been over this with you a million times.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I did stop it because I didn't know, because we made hot chocolate with water. At least I'm pretty sure we did, right? And the concept of boiling milk, a refrigerated beverage, was foreign to me. So I don't know what else to tell you there, Heather. I don't notice that much of a difference in the taste. And most of that taste is...
What are you talking about? There's a big difference. It's not as creamy. There's got to be a certain creaminess to it, and you completely lost it when you did that.
Yeah, it's
not
most
to mention,
of that
taste. It's texture and a bit of flavor, especially if you're using a vanilla almond milk, and then we're topping it with some whipped cream and stuff. Nah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, we definitely need the whipped cream. There definitely needs to be some thick marshmallows in there.
I do. You know what? I'm going to debate you on that. I prefer the smaller ones, because the big ones, how am I supposed to fit those in my mouth? You know I have a small mouth, Brawny!
Well, that's because you don't train it.
I'm not training my mouth.
I know that. I've just realized how bad that could sound out of context as soon as it left my mouth. That's on me. I'm gonna eat that one. Not unlike the marshmallows that I'm putting in the hot chocolate. Now then, so let me see here. Uh, what sort of frustrates me about the holidays? I think, and this is my big one here. We, as a culture, as a Western, primarily American culture here, we tend to lose sight of what it's supposed to be. Like I almost wish the gift giving aspects of it wasn't really a thing, and it's really just because Christmas is supposed to be about Jesus. In the we recognize the tradition of the gift giving because the first Christmas happened during like a gift giving sort of festival, and there was gifts being presented to baby Jesus on the arrival of the Magi. So I get that, but I almost wish the gift giving elements weren't a thing. And I'm not just saying that because I'm broke. I think there's an actual, it would be spiritually better for the culture to just have it be, take this week to just remember your family or be with the people that you care about. Decorate, cook, be merry, rest, for God's sakes. We definitely need a lot more rest than we get. So what do you think about that, Heather?
Without the presents and the movies and the food and stuff, I don't know what really I'd be enjoying about it. I hate to sound materialistic, but that's just what I like. Like,
well, you would enjoy the food and the movies with family. And I know not everybody is like close to their like biological family, but there's something to be said. We could definitely pull the community together, even if you don't have like your own close-knit family, and then that's how you build those bonds with the community around you. If you don't have that, we can be on our way to making it.
I see what you're saying, but I'm thinking of the elements I enjoy about Christmas, and very little of them actually have like at least very obvious Christian imagery or even like concepts, because like I want you to think of all the Christmas movies I like. Let's start from the top because we were just talking about this today. My favorite Christmas movies in no particular order are A Year Without a Santa Claus, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York, Klaus, and Jim Carrey's The Grinch. Now, there's not any mention of God or Jesus or really much of that in those movies. Those movies, like, especially if we're thinking Home Alone 2, it's more about the holiday itself. And of course, it's about family, which I suppose you can say is a Christian concept, but that's like all of human society concept. Every religion and like culture puts a lot of importance around the familial unit. But yeah, he doesn't talk about Jesus or anything like that. Like, it's like, if it's funny to say this, but legitimately there's been a moment where I was just like minding my business, being like, oh yeah, I love Christmas, and then I see someone with a bumper sticker of like, keep Christ in Christmas, and I legitimately thought to myself for a half second, what does Jesus have to do with Christmas? I forgot about that part for a second. I'm like, oh yeah, I was like, oh yeah, this is about like Christian stuff. For me, it's just become family celebration where we eat lots of good food, exchange presents, and have a good time, watch good movies. I don't think about God. I don't think about Jesus. So in a way, I kind of get the argument in the fact that the way Christmas is now, you could completely exclude the idea of Jesus and all the religious elements and just think of it as celebration, kind of like with Halloween. Halloween, I'm sure there's some background to it, but I don't think of any particular religion when I am getting ready for Halloween. I think, oh, scary movies, costumes, candy, fun times. That's all I'm thinking about. That's what every holiday has become, but in particular Christmas, like I'll remember sometimes because I'll see some imagery and I'm like, oh yeah, that's what it's about. It's what we're all about, but I just don't think of it at all.
Alrighty, yeah. I mean, that's crazy that you didn't remember that Christmas is about Christ. You're marrying a Christian.
Well, we don't call it Christmas, we call it Christmas.
Yeah, I do wonder why that is, and I'll bet you Shady would actually know the answer to that, but Maybe we'll ask him tomorrow when we're talking to him.
Yeah, so essentially what I'm saying is, like, if Christmas was a bare bones thing where it was purely focusing on the religious elements and stuff like that and not about some materialism and celebration, I would not be as interested. That's probably why it's evolved to what it is today.
Yeah, capitalism is a heck of a drug.
Because I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free to spend money.
That's not a Christmas song.
Well, it's American.
Well, let's see here. Turning to the chat, Cosmina and Spira says, I have to agree. I've had both, versions of hot chocolate. I like milk better. So
I'd
there's
say
that.
if there was a vanilla oat milk, that might be the best. Like, I just try to sometimes not have too much dairy.
Yeah. And she also says, just throwing this out there, gift giving for me is this time of year. Now I practice getting someone I love something I think they would need and not just like. And I want to speak to that for a second here because I try to do the same thing. When I go gift shopping for people, I ask myself what they need, and it's usually in line with their hobbies or interests or things like that, or something that they need around the house. Basically, my goal with giving a gift is you're gonna have this and use it for a long time. It's gonna be a part of your life. I don't like getting people like food or gift cards or cash or anything like that. Anything consumable.
What? They're going to use cash for a long time.
They're gonna use what?
They're going to use cash for a long time.
They're gonna use cash.
I'm surprised you'd say those things. I thought you'd said, like, I don't want to give someone a toy they're going to break in 2 minutes or a game that they'll finish in an hour. Like, that's what I would expect you to say because, like, cash and food are actually pretty utilitarian gifts. You need food or you'll die. And, like, cash and gift cards, they could use that at any point in time for whatever they wanted
that's
to.
what I'm saying. When it's consumable, you use it and then it's gone, right? But like when we were up visiting my family for Thanksgiving, and we did that archery with my younger brother, I gave him that quiver and those arrows years ago, and he's still using them, right? And that's that type of thing that I'm talking about. Things that they're gonna use for a long time. If you give someone something consumable, they use it, it's gone. And then that's it. Right? Now, games, things like a video game or things like a toy for a kid, right? I know that, this kid, whoever I'm giving it to, it could be one of my nieces or nephews or maybe even yours, that they're probably going to grow out of that at some point in time. But they're still going to use it for years, right? And especially if I get them something that's along the lines of their interests and their actual hobbies. Like my one nephew, we're more likely to give him art supplies. And those technically count as consumable, but he's going to use them for a long time. And a lot of art supply kits have stuff that is going to last you years, maybe even. So things like that, or video games. I mean, shoot, you could get 60, 80 hours out of some video games, and that's not counting your, whatever replay value is built into the game. Now, we're not exactly in the days of the PlayStation 2 anymore, so you can't just like get somebody a disc and then that's it, But like if I had take like one of the video games that I played growing up, like Tekken, for example, if I got Tekken as a gift, that would have been an amazing gift because I still play Tekken, specifically 5, right? So you just play that game for forever as long as you've got somebody to play with. So that's how I go about gift giving. I don't know. What do you think about all that, Heather?
It makes sense, though I will say there are some toys from my childhood that I still have. I still have my original purple transparent Game Boy. I don't always play with it, but I've been using it as a prop in my cosplay videos, and I've turned it on a few times to play it. I will say it's little needs a little repair here and there. And I also still have plenty of Pokemon cards from when I was a kid. There's even some toys I've thought of, like I think back to, and I wish I had kept it in better condition or that I still had it. You know?
Yeah.
There's plenty of plushies and stuffed animals I got here in my hoard too that I still have. So, that's a person by person thing, thinking of something that they'll keep forever. Because of course, if you just give a generic teddy bear to just any child, maybe they'll play with it for a day, but they'll eventually forget about that thing and leave it away. But if you get them, say, a plushie of something that is their favorite animal or something from a show that they like say it's a My Little Pony doll, because My Little Pony is timeless, they might hold on to that for way longer than you think.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta say, I think your mindset with that kind of holds you back in terms of getting gifts for people. Like, you've had to really rethink the way you give gifts, especially when you give them to me. Like, you've given me some things I use all the time, like my first pocket knife that you got me, my multi-tool, which I was even using today. But you've switched it up a bit because you've gotten me gifts that you probably wouldn't have gotten people in the past, like all the Squishmallows I have. That you wouldn't say those are very utilitarian. Will I have them forever? Probably, because that's what I'm like. So you've kind of had to adapt to a different style of gift giving.
To a degree, that's it is something you use though. Like the Squishmallows are decorating our family room right now. We still use those as pillows. It was hilarious a couple of weeks ago when you just buried yourself in all of the ones that you have here. So you are gonna use those, and I know that you as an adult are probably stuck in your ways with this type of thing now. So it's a safe bet that you will.
It's not a positive thing.
I didn't intend for it to not be a positive thing. It doesn't really. I'm just saying. I know you're not going to grow out of it. So, and I know you like them. So it does both of the things. It gives you that nice little dopamine or serotonin, whichever it is. I think it's serotonin hit for a minute. Or not a minute, for a while there, and then you have this thing that you love using as a pillow. And I'll admit they're cute. I like them. I wish the Fuecoco one wasn't bulbous in weird places and takes up half of a couch. that's
I like that one. That one. I can just go on with that one.
Like, have you guys seen that? God, the sucker is gotta be 24, maybe even 30 inches, but I got her this giant freaking, you've probably seen it on, if you tune into Heather streams, it's a Fuecoco Squishmallow, but they gave it a tail and they gave it a bulbous nose, so it's not quite shaped like a Squishmallow, but it is still Squishmallow, and it's the size of your torso or bigger, depending who you are out there. Takes up half the gosh darn couch. When I put that thing in my shopping cart to get it for her, it took up the entire shopping cart. So let's see here. What else do we have in the chat? I'm just sort of winging it there. But we do have Trent, who wants to come in and tell us about how fruitcake is underrated. So Trent, welcome to the show. Feel free to connect to the call whenever you are ready. And in the meantime, we'll see what else they're saying in the chat here. So, Nathan,
Can I just confess something?
Yeah, sure.
Fully. I've never even seen a fruitcake before. Not in real life. I've never eaten one. I've never seen one.
Same here.
Have a reputation.
I imagine it's cake with fruit in it, but I'm not sure. Maybe Trent will be able to fill us in when he gets here. So Nathan, I see you want to know how do you call in. So it's the same thing. You go to the Discord link at the top of the description, and that takes you into the server, and that it tells you, and then you just tell us that you want to share your thoughts in the call, and we put you in. Hey, Trent, how are you doing? Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Brawny. How are you doing? I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. So tell us about fruitcake and why it's underrated.
It's because I've had my grandma's applesauce gumdrop cake. That was really good, and I think it's basically that. Just put fruit in it.
Okay, so you said applesauce gumdrop cake. Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Alrighty, I've never heard those words used in that sequence before. What on God's green earth is a gumdrop cake, applesauce gumdrop cake? So Heather, have you ever heard of this?
No, that sounds so interesting. I'm not sure even what that would look like.
We might need to take a break when we're done talking to Trent here and go grab your cookbook and see if it's in there. But I feel like we would. Okay, so Trent, tell us what is it? What is an applesauce gumdrop cake? Do you know anything about like how it's made or what's in it?
Besides the two obvious parts.
I not really. Just I know Grandma does put gumdrops in it.
Interesting. So I'm imagining like a cake. Like imagine just a regular like flour cake. But then it's got like gumdrops and bits of fruit. What kind of fruit do we put in the fruit cake?
I've made apple cakes before.
Apple, I guess. I don't I would assume she could put any fruit in it.
Interesting.
You know, I've made things that have applesauce in it, and structurally, I think it's a pretty good component. So you remember those pumpkin apple muffins we've made?
Yeah, those are great.
That has pureed pumpkin, and applesauce in it. So it's probably like that. I wonder where the gumdrops come in, or if they're more of a decorative part.
I don't know, Trent. What do you know about the gumdrops in there? Do they play a big part of the flavor, or are they just decorative? Ayo, Trent, you there? We lost Trent. Okay, so I'm gonna disconnect Trent, and that's unfortunate we lost him because I had more questions for him. So fruitcake is underrated. Well, you know what we might have to do, Heather? We might need to actually like try out
make a cake.
Yeah, make a fruitcake and try it out. I remember when I was real young, there was one time I almost like made one with my mother, but then I needed to go get a pen and paper so we could write down the recipe, and then I didn't. And they were like playing it on TV. We didn't have internet at the time. Here is a website I always go to when I need a recipe for something. All recipes. What do they say about fruitcake here? My 90-year-old grandmother's recipe. Okay, at least this website just keeps the blurbs to a minimum here. What do we got? I saw nuts, so Heather's almost immediately out here. 2 cups of packed brown sugar, 3 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of baking soda, 2 tablespoons of ground cinnamon or to taste, 2 tablespoons of ground cloves to taste. Cloves of what? Allspice.
They're just cloves. I've seen them at the store. It's just cloves.
Cloves of garlic?
No, it's just cloves.
Weird. Okay. 4 eggs, gosh darn. Lemon zest, vanilla extract, brandy, Heather.
Brandy.
Yeah, raisins, chopped nuts, dried mixed fruit, butter.
I'm sure we could just take the nuts out.
And brandy again.
So much brandy! You're gonna get drunk off this fucking cake.
Okay, so preheat oven to 225. That seems kind of low. That's interesting. Combine dry ingredients. Nope. No, the brandy's in there too. Mix thoroughly. Bake. Airtight tin. 2 tablespoons of brandy. Is this not like the liquor brandy? Okay, so the process is a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. We might need to try this.
Not that complicated. Yeah.
Alrighty then.
Maybe we could take a fruitcake to my mom's house.
Oh, we're already making pies.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what else we got here? Let's see now. Oh yeah, Paladin, or Gojillion rather, says, here's a controversial question to put out there. Is Die Hard really a Christmas movie? We've talked about this before on this channel.
Christmas.
Yeah, I'm in the camp of no, it is not a Christmas movie. There's nothing Christmassy about that movie, other than the fact that it happens to take place during Christmas. It could have taken place any other time of year. It would have been the same movie. And yeah, that's about it. And the kicker is that it was, from what I understand, it was originally released in theaters in like June of that year. Something like that.
I wouldn't know anything about it, man.
Let's see here. July 12th, 1988.
July 12th, 1980. Wait, Die Hard came out in 1988?
Yep.
That's how old it is?
That's how old it is.
I didn't know that.
It's almost 40 years old.
I did not know that. I thought it was much younger. Like, obviously I wasn't even born when it came out. But I thought it was like a 90s movie that maybe I just missed or something.
I thought so too. Comment from Rusty Heraldy in the chat just saying, putting money aside, what can I get you? The money you put aside. Let's see here.
You know,
Rusty also says the brandy has been doubled. 7 equals 1 heart says, my fruitcake has apple slices drenched in cinnamon sugar and with a splash of orange juice.
Sounds right.
Yeah. All right. So Paladin Pony T wants to know, what's the best Christmas dessert?
Oh my gosh, I make so many things this time of year. I'm not going to say my pumpkin breads, because my pumpkin breads I feel like are more of a Thanksgiving fall type of thing, but I do still make them. But let me think. I make pies, I make cakes, maybe cookies, because cookies are the most iconic Christmas food, you know?
Yeah.
Santa loves them.
My mother.
There's just so many different kinds.
My mother gets together with all her friends, you know, right around this time of year actually, and they'll spend like a whole day, like 10, 12 hours, just making a million cookies that we then eat for like the following months. And cookies can be decorated to be Christmassy, and there's definitely some types of cookies out there that you really only see at Christmas. But I was sitting here racking my brain going, what dessert specifically do you have at Christmas that you never have any other time of the year? And I couldn't think of any.
I mean, you can make cookies for any occasion, but cookies are definitely the most iconic on Christmas. Because what do you think of when you think of Halloween? You think of candy. What do you think of when you think of Thanksgiving? You think turkey. You think pies. When you think of Christmas, Christmas cookies. Shaped like trees. You get those Pillsbury Doughboy ones that are super easy to make. That's a whole thing.
Mm-hmm. So let's see here. He also wants to know, should Christmas horror movies exist?
I think they're cool. Like, that Krampus movie was pretty dope.
I knew you were going to talk about Krampus.
I try not to with you, because I know you probably don't like it, but I enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, I've actually, like, seen it. It definitely freaked me out, especially the ending. That was some existential horror right there. I couldn't handle that.
It really was. It really was. But yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
Alrighty then. Let's see here. But should they exist? That's the thing.
I like injecting a little bit of horror and everything. So if I feel in a spooky mood at a different time of year, I can still enjoy a movie that's still on theme, you know?
Yeah, I don't see a reason they shouldn't exist. I couldn't I don't like them. I wish they didn't exist. But I feel like the only reason that I could articulate as to why they shouldn't exist is entirely subjective, and that would be that it's supposed to be a holy, happy, celebratory time of year. How are you going to ruin that with... And it doesn't even have to be Krampus, because Krampus has ancient folklore, legends behind it. I can almost understand Krampus. I can't understand Bad Santa.
I didn't watch. Oh, was Bad Santa the one where Santa was like a demon that got punished, so he had to be good for like this many years, and then he went bad because his punishment was over?
Yeah.
Okay.
When Cruiser shows up later tonight, he's probably going to show up here while we're doing our gaming stream. We should ask him about Christmas horror movies, because he's a big horror movie like buff, so he probably knows a good few.
Yeah, he probably does. He could probably give us a list. Well, you know what I thought Bad Santa was the Bad Santa where like it's like a freaking dude who is just has the job of being the mall Santa. And he's only doing it because his friend, who's a little person, is helping him hatch like a heist plan for something in the mall. But what the fuck was the thing? Yeah, I think he like was good at the end of it because he like felt bad for a kid who was kind of like Luke. Like he's a big kid for his age, so people think he's acting mature, but he's just acting his age because he's literally like 8, but he looks like 13. So it was that kind of kid, and he grew a bond with that kid. Because the kid didn't have the best mom. She was trying, but kind of a ditz, and I don't believe he had a dad.
Alrighty then. Let's see here. Harriman says my hot take is about 87%. Wow, that's a. First of all, how are you going to say about, and then give an extremely specific percentage? And also, how are you coming up with this percentage? You just made that up, didn't you? 87% of what's billed as quote-unquote Christmas celebration, in parentheses minimum, has nothing to do with the actual Christian Christmas holiday and detracts from the true spirit of Christmas. Now, I was kind of talking about that at the start of the stream.
He's the person who, like, if we celebrated Christmas his way, I would not be having fun.
Yeah. I actually do have a Christmas hot take now that I read Harriman's comment here. I don't think people should celebrate Christmas if they're not Christian. It's kind of because it defeats the purpose.
I can see what you're saying, but there's a lot of people who aren't Christians but have a lot of Christian family members or friends, and so like they don't want to be like, well, I'm not going to do any of this Christmas stuff with you because I'm not a Christian. They're going to do it because like their families are doing it, like, because because people who aren't like are even different religions kind of take part in it, because like take my job place for example. I'm pretty sure at least one of the accounting staff members is not Christian. I mean, don't get me wrong. A lot of people in my workplace are. They even have prayer groups, some people, but they're not down your neck with it. But we're still having like that holiday party we went to last night. Now, it wasn't like specifically Christmas, but it was heavily implied. It was mostly Christmas. And we're going to have a Secret Santa. It's kind of weird to like exclude people who don't celebrate Christmas out of these activities. Like, you gotta at least, like, offer the hand, be like, yeah, you could do Secret Santa with us, even though you're, like, I don't know, Hindu or something else or whatever.
So meet me in the middle here. What I would like as a culture is if we really did put the Christ back in Christmas, and then, of course, if you want to individually. Of course, you can do whatever you want with it, but I want to take the capitalism and the marketing out of it.
That might be hard, but you know, we'd have to like really paint a picture of what that Christmas looks like, you know?
Well, it's not just hard, it's impossible, but it's, you know, it's what I would wish. I don't know. Like, I don't celebrate Hanukkah for obvious.
What about Hanukkah?
I don't celebrate Hanukkah because I don't know what it's about. I've tried to learn what it's supposed to be about a couple of times, and I apologize to my Jewish friends. I don't remember. It's not sticking with me because I haven't grown up with it. I don't need it. So, but like, for me to then just like take whatever Hanukkah is about and then just go, okay, now it's, now we're wrapping it up with Toyota-thon, and you can't, you can't properly celebrate Hanukkah if you're not buying somebody in your family a Toyota or some kind of Toyota related accessory, right? That's what I feel like Christmas it ends up being when it's not celebrated for what it's supposed to truly be. It's cultural appropriation. There it is. I said it.
Okay.
I just put the words to it. I'm like, dang, this kind of sounds like the cultural appropriation argument. And I'm normally against the idea of cultural appropriation, but in this particular case, for the Christian holidays, Christmas and Easter, celebrating it outside of its religious context and marketing it around things that are not religious is cultural appropriation. What say you, Heather?
Honestly, as a mostly not religious person, I'm like, damn, I like appropriating your holiday though. Always fun.
Well, the thing about the Christian holidays is Christianity is all about like reaching out to people who are not Christians. So it's like, hey, here's our holiday. Here are the traditions that we observe for the holiday, but this is what the holiday is supposed to be about. So like, you as not being a practicing Christian, it might be something if like, oh, I'm going to take, for you it'd be like, oh, I'm just going to, take the idea of Christmas, the traditions of Christmas. I'm going to take away all their meaning out of it though and just do the materialistic aspects of it. But, right, because that's no good. But if a Christian invites you to Christmas, that's something entirely different. You following me?
Yes.
And like, I am willing to be a hypocrite on the cultural appropriation argument that I would never stand behind for any other thing in this case, because the cultural appropriation argument, when most other people make it, is about something that's totally arbitrary, made up. Usually when other cultures are more than happy to share whatever it is, aspects of their culture that you're interested in partaking in and celebrating in, right? It just turns out to be hypocritical. But this is supposed to have like actual spiritual meaning to it.
Yeah. No, it is.
Yeah. So that is why I'm willing to make myself a hypocrite on this topic in this one instance. I'm surprised you're letting me get away with this. I'm surprised
it's your
chat.
Holiday, dog. I'm trying to be more respectful of religions these days, because I definitely had my snobbery phase where I'm like, ugh, religion. That's so dumb. But I've grown past that.
Yeah. I'm surprised the chat's letting me get away
Character
with this,
development.
too. Kalbic says, I enjoy Kwanzaa, but only for the commercialized version with Kwanzaa fish giving healthcare bonds to all the deserving boys and girls around the third world. I feel like that's kind of racist.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I have no idea what Kalbeck is talking about. I will say this, last year I saw something funny on Twitter. And there was a guy going around on Twitter saying, you know, Happy Kwanzaa to everybody on Kwanzaa. And I think he, like, specifically tagged, like, Kenya in it, or it was, or it might have been Uganda. I can't remember exactly what. And then, like, a representative from that country came in and was like, Kwanzaa was made up in the 1960s by some white dude who doesn't know anything about anything, that was just trying to, you know, diversify the Christmas time of year for whatever stupid reason he had. Here in, I'm gonna say Uganda. I know Uganda is very, very Christian, and so is Kenya, really. But, you know, here in this country, around this time of year, we celebrate the birth of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ on Christmas. Get out of here with that nonsense. And I thought that was hilarious. So, you know, that begs the question of whether or not Kwanzaa is a real thing, and you know, what constitutes a holiday or a holiday tradition if it's that young, because Christmas is obviously ancient. We've been celebrating Christmas for, you know, 2020 some odd years at this point. And it feels like and Hanukkah, I would assume, is even
Brawny.
older than that.
Brawny, I got an anonymous question from somebody on Discord saying, is it cultural appropriation for Mormons to celebrate Christmas?
Ooh. Well, gut reaction, I'm going to say no. Because Mormons are celebrating it, at least from what I understand. Mormons are celebrating it for the same reason. They might observe a slightly different tradition because Mormons are, I'm going to say, they're not Christians, right? But they generally have different traditions around these holidays, if they have any at all. There's a lot of holidays that some people associate with Christianity that Mormons don't even acknowledge, and that's fine. But all that really matters is, do you believe that you know, can you get can you recite the Nicene Creed and agree with everything, right? That's the core of Christianity, is the Nicene Creed. You know, lays out everything that every Christian should believe. That is, you know, so can you? That's like agreeing to the terms of service. That's the terms of service contract right there, is the Nicene Creed. Can you get through the Nicene Creed without any disagreements? And can you, you know, when you observe these holidays, do you observe them as celebrations or remembrance of the birth of Jesus, of the death of Jesus, for, you know, in the case of Easter? That's really all that matters. So even if it's a Mormon, that was just a random inflection of my tone. I didn't mean it to, like, sound condescending, right? So, but even if it's like a Mormon or some other denomination of Christianity that may or may not actually be Christianity, if the intention is there, I think it still counts. Does all that make sense?
I guess so.
Yeah.
I'm talking to somebody whose family is Mormon. I don't think they are in particular. They might be, but forgetting that, they're telling me that they did do Christmas celebrations whenever they did go to church. they celebrate in a very similar way. Like I also grew up around Mormons because half my family converted when I was a teen. There's not much difference to how other people do it. I think the only thing that Mormons really do super differently as opposed to Christian imagery is that they don't put Jesus on the cross. Like, they don't have that symbolism in there. They don't like the, I think that from what they said, maybe that they thought that was like over glorifying his death or something.
How do you over glorify the death of Jesus? That's the most important thing that ever happened in human history.
I think that's what I remember. I don't think they like to think about how he died because they consider it gruesome, and it was.
Well, yeah, crucifixion was one of the most sophisticated tortures ever conceived by man.
Yeah, so I guess they just don't like the imagery of it like that, Like, they know it happened, they acknowledge it happened, they just don't want to, depict that very often. At least that's what I remember. But yeah, they do the trees, they have the songs, they do all of that. But, them being Mormons, they just, they don't party the same way other people do because they can't drink or do smokies or, I think they also gotta, not have caffeine. I don't know if, sugars are a part of that. I don't think you can have soda.
I used to...
So I don't know.
I'm trying to remember all the times that I've hung out with Dr. Wolf at a convention and trying to remember, what if he ever had a soda. Obviously, I've never seen him drink or smoke.
I'm gonna. Well, no, he can't drink. He's Mormon.
Yeah.
He definitely can't drink. But I was like, I'm gonna text him now on the number I totally have his and be like, hey, how is Christmas different from a Mormon as opposed to the more regular? I'm not gonna say you're not normal, but I'm like, the other branches of Christianity.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and you're talking about the person. That's talking to you right now. Yeah, the person who's talking to me is still. I thought you were saying you were going to text.
They're watching the stream.
Yeah, I thought you were saying you were going to text Dr. Wolf on his phone for a second here, and I'm like, there's multiple.
I did say that as a joke. I said that as a joke, being like, I'm going to text him right now. But I am messaging a Mormon right now. They're just, because they're listening to the stream and they're messaging me at the same time, giving me a Mormon perspective. But they're like, we are just bland-ass Christians. Oh, we can have soda. They are used to replace coffee. Mormons can't drink coffee, certain teas, and alcohol.
Interesting. Oh, and Harriman has tuned in with something here. Says Kwanzaa was made as a manufactured, quote, communism is good, join the collective holiday. So making it commercialized is easily making it better. I will choose to believe this not because it may or may not be true, but because it is funny.
All right. Oh, and they also said to me, well, I'm not Mormon. I just know about it. You're flipping me around.
The White Eagle says, compromise. At least one person in the group celebrating Christmas is Christian. Will that make it okay? Or maybe the celebrations must be led by the Christians. I could get behind either of those things, right? Yeah. I wouldn't, if I was an atheist, I wouldn't put on a Christmas party. I might wait for the invitation to get to the Christmas party and participate in the white elephant, because white elephants are fun. Let's be real here. To have the celebrations led by Christians, I believe that would be better.
Man, I'm really going against your grain because I, a non-religious person, would totally host a Christmas party.
Well, yeah, but you're looking for an excuse to host a party about anything. We do have a really good party house. I love this house.
I just like celebrating. Is that so wrong? I'm just so full of movies.
No, there's nothing wrong with it. So let's see here.
Because if you're saying that Christians have to lead the celebrations and stuff, that kind of sucks for me. It's like, oh man, I don't get to do shit.
Well, put it this way, Heather. With this compromise, it's not like you're excluded, right? Because Christians don't exclude people. We want everybody to be a Christian, right? You're getting invited. In fact, because you're marrying a Christian, I'm inviting you, right? So you're being invited to the party. You don't have to host. You don't have to buy the food. You don't have to clean up afterwards. It's all the best parts.
I might offer, though.
What?
I might offer, though. Like, if it's dirty, I'll be like, you need help.
Well, yeah, of course. And that's, that's
I will bring a pie.
That's just polite, right? But the point is you don't have to do anything. So you get the party, you get the celebration, and you didn't have to put in any real work.
Yay!
Goodness, Heather, we need to get you some coffee.
I got poggers. I'll drink some poggers when we start the next stream.
Indeed, and we're gonna start that stream soon. Now here's the thing,
we need a brief recess so I can change my shirt. It's dirty.
Well, I was gonna say we're actually gonna. Here's what we're gonna do tonight, guys. We're gonna do a simulcast. I guess might be the way to say it. I don't know if that is the correct. Yeah. So
is that gonna be okay if we both stream at the same time?
I think we'll be fine. We've done it before.
Well, we'll try it for an hour, and then you can stop streaming if you want, and I'll keep going online, and we'll see.
Yeah, but we're gonna try out on Saturday SmackDown, at the unusual time of 10 o'clock tonight, Eastern Standard Time. Heather and I are both going to be playing Marvel Rivals, because that game, has become really popular. So we want to try it out and see what it's like. But we're both going to be playing Marvel Rivals at 10 o'clock, and we're going to be playing with some family and friends. So yeah, we're gonna break off in a few minutes here, and we'll see you guys back here in a little more than an hour. I don't see anything more in the chat for people to talk about, and nobody's been saying anything in the waiting room on the Discord here. So I think we've covered just about everything, unless Heather, what more like holiday grievances do you want to bring up?
What I was thinking about, because I'm materialistic. I like the gift giving part of Christmas. How was I going to phrase this? I want to say a hot take I have about gift giving is I don't care how much money you spent on it. If you give someone a gift that is just so fucking opposite of what they're interested in, you're a prick. I don't care if you gave them a $10,000 diamond necklace. If this is a tomboy who never wears jewelry, what the fuck were you thinking, man?
This sounds like the tone of your voice sounds like it's coming from personal experience, and I want to hear this story.
I don't want to tell the story. It's kind of a little bit sad, but I've just been in the situation where I felt very unseen by a gift I was given to somebody. I think they were thinking more about something that they'd like me to have as opposed to something I'd actually like to have. It was a small moment, but it was kind of it was a bit of a bummer. It was already kind of a tight Christmas, and I felt a little put down.
Oh, let's see here.
That's all I'll say about that.
Okay. And Seven says he put his in Atrium in the Patreon server. And so I didn't see that.
What was his?
Okay, so let's see here. I personally, 7 equals 1 heart says in Discord, I personally subscribe to multiple religions because I feel like religion is supposed to be meant to teach us how to be a good person to each other, our world, etc. What happens after death is literally the only thing that pits humanity against each other. Ooh, I disagree with that. But most religions, get out of here, Jehovah's Witnesses. Okay, we can still be friends. Feel like they click together like puzzle pieces, in my opinion. And I try to use all of their positive aspects to be the best person I can. Taoism, Buddhism, Christianity, etc. Okay, that's interesting.
I could definitely agree that there's something to learn from each one. Some of them complement some of the same aspects, and some go a little bit further.
Christianity is the most complete and the most perfect. I'm just going to say that right out. There is a surprising...
You might be a little biased, but okay.
There is a... Well, I'm not biased. I'm very objective, which is why I'm a Christian.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not Christian because of any other reason other than I've seen them all, and Christianity is the best, and my standards are extremely high, and I don't deal with things, and I don't deal with nonsense. But I will say this though, there is a surprising amount of overlap in the philosophies that you might learn about in Taoism and Buddhism with Christianity. It takes a little while to figure out exactly how that overlap exists and where it is in those philosophies. And it's not even something that I'd be able to like pick out and verbalize on the spot right now without being given some kind of prompt. But yeah, the more I learned about Taoism and Christianity side by side, I did see a lot of similarities there. Of course the main difference is that with Buddhism has different ideas of what the afterlife is and how karma works. And Buddhism is now Taoism, on the other hand, is very susceptible to moral relativism. And moral relativism will ultimately lead to absolute chaos and destruction, which is why we need the Bible so that we have that moral true north on the compass, if you know what I mean. All right, so that's absolutely required. How else do I put it? No, that's about right. Let's see here. So I think we covered just about everything in that case. I don't know, Heather. Closing thoughts. One thing you learned.
Well, I guess I still like Christmas, and
Of course, we still like Christmas.
I mean, I'm more curious about fruitcake, but I just can't.
I'm gonna have to eat it myself.
I guess we'll try some fruitcake here. I'm looking forward to trying fruitcake. I got no objections there.
Hey, I got a question. Why does your like button raiser thing say "Buy my buddy a gift"?
Oh yeah. So thank you because I totally forgot to go over that at the beginning of stream. So here's the thing: is our fundraiser for this month is we are getting one of my patrons. His name is Alden. He's been on my show a good few times in the past. I want to get him a new mattress and mattress supporter for Christmas. We're looking at about $300 here, and I'm just curious to see if anybody is at all interested in going in with me and helping out with the cause here. I'm definitely gonna do it, in a couple of weeks here and just make up the difference for whatever we don't get. But that's what if you donate to my stream during the month of December, that's what it's going towards. So let me tell you a bit about Alden here. He's an elderly veteran. I believe he served during the Vietnam era. He didn't serve in Vietnam, but he served during that era. And he's got a really bad back right now that he's getting therapy for to the best of his ability. You know, obviously at that age, there's only so much you can do. But he's in a lot of pain and he's very uncomfortable. And I want to help with that. And this is really the only thing I can do to help with that. So he says he needs a new mattress. The one he picked out for us is very reasonable, very doable. So we're gonna try to raise some money for it, and we're gonna get it for him as a gift, Christmas present by the end of the month here. So if you, enjoyed tonight's debate, and if you enjoy the gaming stream that's coming up, if you're having fun on the show, you want to support, help us get, a really nice Christmas present for an elderly veteran who needs it. There's the, tip jar link, and all of the donations are going to that this month. So Heather, thank you so much for reminding me about that.
No problem.
And Rusty says, bless you, Heather, because you're over there sneezing and coughing into my microphone.
Sorry, I was pointing my head away and everything. That just goes to show how high quality my microphone is.
Yeah. Oh, here's one. Is Star Trek Generations a Christmas movie? The frick? Explain that one to me, Heather.
What did you say?
Is Star Trek Generations a Christmas movie?
Probably not. Never watched it, though.
Yeah, I never watched it either. So with that being said, thanks everybody who tuned in. I hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you in an hour for some Marvel Rivals with Heather and myself. And we're gonna be celebrating the birthday of one of our friends. It was his birthday, right, Heather? That's why we're doing this.
Yep. Well, it's a belated birthday. It was earlier this month.
Yeah, there we go. So, thanks to everybody who supports, especially on the $10 and up tier, such as Heather herself. There's also Shady, Autoknight, Emerald, Senko, DJ, Rain, Billy, Alden, Kanto, Mr. Sonic, Alicia, StarChaser, VentureCorp, Willyzin, Icanus, Vulpecula, Jimmy, J Yoshi, and Dark Malcontent. Check out all their links in the description to see their content, see how you can support the channel, and see what you get in return. Until then, stay safe, God bless, and we will see you later. Say goodnight, Heather.